all humans, the most common cluster of mental health conditions is anxiety disorders. Panic disorder, generalized anxiety, social anxiety disorder, also known as social phobia. It used to comprise two other conditions that have since been sort of separated out, but are also quite common in men, and those are obsessive compulsive disorder and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think more and more research is suggesting that those two are separate entities. They're rooted in either trauma-based experiences or in compulsory experiences and obsessional thinking, and have been separated out. Among anxiety disorders, the ratio still suggests more women than men will experience any given one of them. There are some conditions in which the rates are less skewed based on gender, like obsessive compulsive disorder and bipolar disorder if we start to look at mood disorders. But I think one common one certainly is within the realm of mood disorders is major depression. And I think we're seeing a lot more outreach and speaking out about the experiences of major depression in men. Now, depression will impact about half as many men as women by most accounts. 1 in 8 guys will experience major depression over the course of his lifetime, and rates will go up at particular periods of time. One of those is in the first year post fatherhood or post the birth of a kid. And so in the first year postnatally, the rate goes up. And it's
Well, why do you
suggested
think
that
that is?
there are some risk factors that have been identified. First time fatherhood, younger fatherhood, fathers who have fewer social supports or are struggling financially. But there are also a number of additional risk factors that seem to come up, a number of potential contributors. So for starters, there's changes to sleep patterns, the sheer change
Mm.
of responsibility, but also a number of indicators to suggest that men will experience very similar hormonal changes as moms do, that fathers will also experience changes to estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, oxytocin, in a way that would expand the possibility of baby bonding, but also place dads at risk for the experience of major depression. And so,
Oh,
uh,
tell me, how do these different chemicals interact to contribute to that? I haven't looked into this very much.
yeah, so this is a really interesting area of research. There's quite a bit of research actually to suggest a drop in testosterone within the first year of during pregnancy and within the first year postnatally. That there's also a bolstering of cortisol, which is a chemical that's often associated with stress responses. That there are changes, sort of fluctuations in estrogen levels, and also increases in oxytocin. And that is a hormone that's associated with bonding and connective experiences. Well, in many ways, these changes are very highly associated with an increase in parenting behaviors, with an increase in bonding behaviors. But they've also been shown to be associated with risk for depression, drops in testosterone in particular, changes to cortisol levels. Whereas it is valuable for the sake of bonding, it also puts men potentially at risk from a hormonal level, from a physiologic level, for the experience of depression. But probably the most common risk factor, or at least the most commonly cited risk factor for depression in dads is depression in moms. And so what's interesting is
Mm.
about 10% of men will experience major depression within the first year postnatally. If mom experiences postnatal depression, dad's likelihood goes up from 1 in 10 to somewhere between 1 in 2 and 1 in 4. So somewhere between 25 and 50% of men who are partnered to moms who experience postnatal depression will also experience postnatal depression. And so it sort of speaks to the importance of screening, especially when mom is found to have postnatal depression. The likelihood in the male partner will be substantially higher